Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Shadowlands lore video. It's time for something that is exciting. This is a big, confirmed lore theory that's got major implications that explains parts of both the Legion and BFA storylines. So strap in, this is going to be a big one. And man, as you see in this video with all that's going on here, there's one lore revelation that's pretty damn clear to me, and that is that our sponsor, Skillshare, is available in the Maw, and that the Jailer is probably one of their subscribers. He's a pretty productive fellow. Real talk, right? It's hard to get stuff done these days. I've been going half mental, stuck here in my own in the office. So today I've got a Skillshare pick that I think you'll find real handy. Now the first 500 of you to click down below will get 2 months of premium for free. Past that, it's only $10 a month. Now I'm going to recommend this productivity piece from Kevin Siskar, particularly, right, and this is what I loved, in how he breaks down different categories of mental attention for prioritization. And that's been a struggle for me with the alpha, our other channel, and the game team. It's been hard. This really helped me a bunch. I am sure it will help you as well now more than ever. So that's 2 months for free for the first 500 that click below. So check them out. And a big thanks to Skillshare for sticking with us, especially in these rather tricky times. With that, let's get into the lore. First up, Mueh'zala? What? Well, Mueh'zala is the second troll low of death, worshipped by the Sand Fury trolls. References to him were first found on the Tablet of Thika in Zul'Farrak, all the way back in vanilla. Yeah, that's how long Mueh'zala's actually been hanging around for. And as you're going to see, this plotline actually does extend back potentially a fair bit. Now, our first proper description of him came via Warcraft Traveler, where he was described as having a massive, shadowy, shifting form. Now, in that novel, which happens around the same time as Mists of Pandaria, he threatens to consume all life on the planet. Later, he actually appears to the protagonist of those novels in a vision, along with a Dreadlord, again, threatening to consume all life in Azeroth. But outside of that book, since then, we only really had one other reference to him, and that came in Battle for Azeroth, where, in Dazara Lore's Sand Fury Troll Enclave, there is a shrine to Mueh'zala. So that's who Mueh'zala is. So with that done, well, why is he relevant here? It has been revealed via Shadowlands data mining that Mueh'zala was the spirit who whispered to Vol'jin on his deathbed. Yes, the whole thing's Mueh'zala's fault. He is the one who suggested Sylvanas as the next war chief. The battle for Azeroth, it's on Mueh'zala. Or is it? Because not really. Mueh'zala appears to be in league with the Jailer, the primary antagonist of the Shadowlands expansion. In the same conversation that was data mined between Mueh'zala and Vol'jin, we also learn that Mueh'zala would have tortured Vol'jin for eternity, if not for someone's intervention. Well, during Battle for Azeroth, Aegir told us that Vol'jin had been touched by the hand of valor. And so far, it seems like that has to be the Arbiter who likely saved him from the Maw. So, Sylvanas was installed by Mueh'zala, but almost certainly on the Jailer's behalf. Indeed, Vol'jin actually suspects as much, saying so during his BFA dialogue. Okay, Sylvanas then, installed by the Jailer's ally to be the head of the Horde. What was her plan at this stage? Well, it was to subdue Aegir, as we saw in Stormheim, and then to create her own Valkyr. It appears that this was the true plan, her true purpose, but that was thwarted by Genn Greymane. So, why would the Jailer want to remove Aegir from the board? Well, look at the Arbiter, look at the Kyrians, look at Bastion, look at the Halls of Valor, and right back to me. All similar, aren't they? And if the Jailer is the enemy of the Arbiter, it stands to reason that he would want any Titan-aligned beings with death power to be taken out. Now, let's think about that. Who are the most powerful death entities on Azeroth? Bolvar, Aegir, Bwonsamdi. Sylvanas tried to take out Aegir in Legion and failed. After patch 8.3 in the Shadows Rise novel, she sends Nathanos on a quest to kill Bwonsamdi. Then she takes out Bolvar. So the Jailer's plan was clearly to reduce the death power of Azeroth's denizens. Sylvanas did fail task 1. Aegir was fine, but no matter, she had to progress. She had to follow up the ruinous Legion invasion with a war that would spill more blood. Why? Well, let's talk about that. The way that things should work is that when a being dies, their soul goes before the Arbiter in Oribos for judgment. She then sends them to the correct realm based on how they lived, and only on tremendously rare occasions would a being go to the Jailer's realm, the Maw. Something happened though. Souls, right, along with all of their anima, they started being pulled into the Maw instead of going before the Arbiter. Well, what will this do? Number one, it will provide the Maw with more anima. Now, anima is fuel. It fuels the constructs of Bastion, and I suspect it fuels the living armor troops of the Jailer. So by doing this, by having the souls go to the Maw, the Jailer weakens his enemies and makes his own position stronger. When did this all start happening though? Well, Uther is found in Bastion. Kel'Thas is found in Revendreth. When they died, clearly things were working as they should, because that's where the Arbiter sent them. When Vol'jin died, well, he seemed to have been destined for the Maw. He saw a glimpse of the other side, Bum-Samedi's death realm, where he should have went, but then he was whisked away somewhere else, to the Maw. For now, we can assume that this is definitely a point where the Jailer and his crew had kicked off their plan in earnest. Working from inside the Maw, he orchestrated the breaking of the Machine of Death. Then Mueh'zala, via his connection to the Trolls, installed Sylvanas, their mole in the world of the living, as leader of the Horde. Mueh'zala was active sometime before that though, as seen in Traveller Volume 1. Yes, who knew that a kid's book would herald the death of all life on Azeroth? Because in that book he warns of the day, where he will feast on all souls. Could that day be the Jailer's endgame? Clearly Mueh'zala was aware of it, and later Mueh'zala appeared, as I said, in that vision along with a Dreadlord. Dreadlord, Revendreth, Nathrazim, Castle Nathraza. Yes, the Dreadlords have a Revendreth connection, and they could be in this as well. I mean, just look at them. They're vampires. Vampires, Revendreth, Shadowlands. Now, this Dreadlord, Zarax, he led a group called the Hidden, and the Hidden wanted to prevent Traveller's protagonist from getting the Diamond Blade. Now, this blade was supposed to help him prevent the Darkstorm, which is an event that would basically have unmade Azeroth and killed everyone. But the thing is, it's a Legion plot, and this Hidden group are actually Legion affiliated, as is that Dreadlord. So what's going on here? Is that Legion Dreadlord actually tied to Revendreth and is working with Mueh'zala and the Jailer, or is, say, Mueh'zala just sort of there to use it out of convenience? I mean, certainly given the link between Revendreth and the Dreadlords, I wouldn't be half surprised. Now, if that Darkstorm event that the Hidden were working towards, if that had have succeeded, what we do know is that all the souls, well, would have been going into the Shadowlands. And that means that if the Jailer had have kicked off his plan to break the machinery of death, then he would have got all the anima he would have needed. So there you go, there is a link. And if you need more evidence, well, much of this new lore came from Traveller Part 3. That was released last December, and it was written by the same author who wrote Shadows Rise, the Shadowlands prologue novel. Certainly, we know that when the Legion attacked us in the Legion expansion, the machinery of death had broken, leading souls into the Maw. With Kel'Thas being our last confirmed death in a regular Shadowlands realm, well, yeah, the machinery of death could have been broken any time after we killed Kel'Thas. So that actually could mean that this Darkstorm, described in the Traveller series, could have been a part of one of the Jailer's plans. But guess what? That's not all for Mueh'zala, there is yet more. Data mining also tells us that he is taking Ardenweald's Loa, aka Life Gods. Now, it's unclear whether this means that he is stealing them away from Ardenweald, or if they are just being redirected from where they should go, Oribos, then Ardenweald, and just to the Maw upon death. But that's another thing that he's doing. So Mueh'zala is quite a fellow, and you might think, wow, that's a lot of links. But guess what? We've got another one for you. Gorak'tul. The Drust have their Shadowlands realm, Thros, the Blighted Land. Now, Lady Waycrest let Gorak'tul into our world, kicking off what we see in the Drustvar storyline of Battle for Azeroth. Now, Gorak'tul exploited Waycrest's grief over her dead husband to strike up a deal that led to, well, the Drust being in our realm. Now, when he's there, what is Gorak'tul's goal? Well, there's two. Number one, seek vengeance for his people who are in the past were wiped out by the Kultirans. Secondly, though, it could be that he was also in on the Jailer's plot. I mean, BFA is when Sylvanas was directly working with the Jailer, right? Attempting to make as bloody a war as she could. And Sylvanas' plans were going well, right up until Jaina wiped the floor with her in Dazara lore. That almost didn't happen though, because Jaina was exiled to Thros by her own mother, who at the time was under Ashvane's influence. Now this is big because Lady Ashvane was a servant of Ashara. Sylvanas later broke Ashvane out of prison, so Sylvanas' sort of kind of ally banished her greatest enemy to a death realm, where the leader of that realm, Gorak'tul, would have killed her. If that had have happened, then the Alliance would have lost one of their strongest leaders, Ashvane would have been in control, the Kalterians would not have had their fleet, and the Horde probably would have won the battle for Azeroth there and then. Of course, we know that Sylvanas then, if she had the upper hand, would have blight-bombed Stormwind and other population centers, soft targets. The death toll would have been absolutely massive, and that all would have sent souls to the Maw. Then there is another potential Mueh'zala link, because some of the description of Mueh'zala could be read, right, to be in line with the description of the Shadowlands spirit that Odin saw, right? Now here's the deal. What did Odin do? He traded his eye with that Shadowlands spirit so that he could peer into the Shadowlands, and that is what led to the Odin type of Valkyr. So it could actually be that that Shadowlands spirit was Mueh'zala, and if that is the case, then certainly there are more implications there. Now, think about it, right? Look at Odin. Look at the Halls of Valor. Look at Bastion. Then you kind of look at the Jailer. You look at the Arbiter, and you're like, is the Jailer some sort of fallen titan? Like maybe a fallen titan? Is he some sort of bizarre, like, fallen titan aligned thing? Does he have a beef with the Titans? Is that why he'd really want to wipe out the Arbiter and Bastion and Oribos, which all look very darn titanic, right? There is a lot of potential story in there. Not very confirmed, but certainly something in a speculation video like this I absolutely have to mention to you. So that's the Jailer's squad. Sylvanas, Mueh'zala, potentially Gorak'tul, and certainly more characters that we are yet to meet. And the point of this video is essentially to explain this secretive plotline that's actually led us right into the Shadowlands story. We kind of finally know how it fits together, and you know what? I think that's pretty exciting. I think this is a solid platform upon which we can stand and look forward to the future of this expansion, and indeed the game's lore. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.